Hey, I am Joe, the chef instructor here at Youthentity. Today we are going to be making our brown butter pumpkin snickerdoodles. I love snickerdoodles. They scream the holidays for me. Really love the cinnamon flavor, but we're taking it a little extra further with some pumpkin spice and some brown butter. So what I've got right here is about half a cup of unsalted or salted butter. I prefer unsalted. It's a way to control the sodium in the batter, and I just have it foaming a little bit. I don't want it to get a little too brown or else it'll become bitter. So right now I'm just keeping a close eye on it. And that's looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to take it off the heat. I'm just going to let it cool for about 10 minutes. I don't want it to get scorching hot. While that cools, I am going to get together our sugars and our mixed together. So I've got about half a cup of brown sugar. Make sure it's nice and packed down. And half a cup of granulated sugar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our cooled brown butter and I'm just going to pour that in. See that? And again, we want to make sure it's not too brown because then it'll be bitter. But the brown butter gives a nice nuttiness to the batter, which is what we're looking for here. So I'm just going to put this with my paddle on low. And I'm going to turn it up a quick touch. We're just going to let that mix a little bit. Sugar is nicely incorporated. When it's on low, I'm going to take my one egg white. That's not one full egg, just the egg white. So that's all incorporated there. Okay. And I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of vanilla paste, or if you don't have vanilla paste, vanilla extract. Scrape down the sides here. Very nice. Alright, so now that I've incorporated my sugars, my butter, and my egg white, and my vanilla, I'm now going to put in 1/4 of a cup of pumpkin puree. If you want to go the extra mile and roast the pumpkin yourself, by all means do it, but I don't want to work that hard, so a canned pumpkin will do just fine. I won't tell anybody. All right. Turn this on again. All right, so now that I've incorporated my pumpkin puree, it's now time to add our dry ingredients. So in here I have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got about 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. I have maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. I have, I think, half a teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And what I'm doing, I'm going to sift it. And the reason why I sift it is to get out any of the lumps that are in these dry ingredients, so we have a cleaner, smoother batter. So just a little bit of some sifting here. This also helps incorporate all those ingredients together. You don't just have pockets of salt or pockets of baking soda. If you have any lumps like that, just kind of take your fingers and just push it on through. And usually left, you just have the salt. I'll just dump that in there. Alright. Give that like a little mix. And now with your stand mixture going on about medium, I'm slowly going to put in my dry ingredients. Make sure it's on low or else you'll have flour all over your face. So I have mixed together all my dry ingredients. Be sure that not to overmix your dough. That'll make for a very tough cookie. Ultimately, you want it to be nice and chewy with some nice texture. That's what you're looking for right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap. I'm going to put it in the fridge for about an hour to an hour and a half to really let those flavors marinate, let it tighten up a little bit, and then when we come back to it, we're going to roll it in roll it into little balls, roll some cinnamon and sugar. We'll be ready to bake. All right. So now that we've let our batter rest for a little bit and tighten up in the refrigerator, now is the time to form our cookie dough balls. So I've got about an 1/8 cup scoop here. If you have an ice cream scoop that's about the same size, great. I'm just going to go in here, level that out. I have to work it out a little, that's not a problem. I'm just going to make it into a nice round sphere like that. It's okay if they're not perfect, or they're all going to pan out in the oven. Roll a few of these out. And I suggest rolling them all out first, putting them on the side, and then covering them in our cinnamon and sugar mixture. Now in your recipe book, there's a few extra ingredients for the rolling mixture. All you're really going to need is some cinnamon and sugar. Those other ingredients you can just ignore, but just some cinnamon and sugar will add a little bit more sweetness and a little bit more of that cinnamon holiday spice that we're looking for when So we baked our snickerdoodle cookies for about 11 to 14 minutes. Again, it's all dependent on your oven at about 350 degrees convention. We let them cool on a cooling rack, and there you have it. We have our brown butter pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies from all of us here at Youthentity. Thank you. Have a happy and healthy holiday.